Greetings, captains. Gunship here. I hope you're having a great day. And so am I, because I'm playing the best battleship in the game. Well, I could argue the Russian battleships are pretty good too, but the Hyuga is absolutely an excellent ship. And just look at this little footage here in the start, me firing just my secondary guns at a target. I mean, you've got 10 guns on each side, 140mm, and you can fire 5 shots before you switch to your main guns and shoot with them. That's pretty much 50 shells in between your firing your main guns, so why wouldn't you use it? It makes a lot of sense. They go quite a long way, and as you can see from the stats here, you know, it's sap ammunition. What's not to love? You know, the Russians certainly do. So why shouldn't the Japanese also get a little bit of sap goodness? As we can see, the explosive TNT equivalent here is 2.2 kilo, which is, you know, that's okay. But most of all, it's the mass. It's the rate of fire, and you know, it does decent damage, and they're reasonable accurate as well. You know, not too bad at all. You feel like you're really doing a good broadside, and it's quite satisfying to see ships just dwindle down to nothing. You know, whether it's Graf's Bay or Prince Oregon or London class or whatever. You know, they try and say a side to side, and you shoot 10 shells into them every couple of seconds, or however quickly it actually goes. You know, they don't like it. That's basically the long and the short of that story. But that's not the main attraction of the battleship. Well, it's one of the main attractions, I guess. It's really the main guns.
Yeah, I've seen him.
You fire those bad boys, and if they hit, oh my goodness, they make a dent, even in battleships. And you can absolutely armor rack battleships.
Well.
And it seems like there's a small change in the game. I don't know if you noticed, but I think that battleships are a little bit more likely or prone to get armor rack these days. And it also seems to me you're a bit more likely to do more damage. Likewise, the cruisers also seem to do more damage. So you can't just leave cruisers alone completely and just completely ignore them. You do need to pay some attention, which I think is probably a good thing. So just an example of this, here we got a Vest Fallen that I'm not going to shoot with. You can see 4 shells went over there. That's the 2 front guns that was on target. And we're just waiting for my aft guns now to turn over, and actually, there we go. 6 more shells, and see what happens. Bang! He is down. Now that did not used to happen. So somebody has fiddled with the parameters. I think it's probably a good thing. We'll have to find out. At least if nothing else, we'll just kind of have to live with it, right? Now is a good time to talk about the shells you actually get with the main guns. As you can see, your starting ammunition, high explosive, have 68 kilos of TNT equivalent explosive mass. And that, I believe, is the biggest in the game for a battleship. And not too bad on the penetration either. Now, you will very soon research the armor piercing, and look at that, 15 kilometers, a 30-degree angle, is still over 300mm of penetration. TNT equivalent is 13 kilo. This is not super fantastic, but it's not bad at all, and you can do a lot of damage with that. Here's my recommendation for research. Tool set first, fire protection system, of course, that goes without saying. Get the AP ammunition, because you need that against other battleships, and then get the rudder replacement, because you need that to avoid those pesky torpedoes that get thrown at you at regular intervals. Apart from that, everything else is just a bonus. Well, apart from the fact you get the enjoyment of paying the snail plenty of silver lions, but that's just the way the game works, as we all know and love, sort of. Let's talk about the economy of playing the Hyuga, and before we get into the numbers, I just want to share my lineup that I use. So obviously we got the Hyuga there, and I have the Mikuma, but for the economy bit I predominantly use the Hyuga, and that was my primary ship. I'll sometimes spawn in the PTO2 or the Type 11 if I wanted to quickly do a cap at the start of the match. And also got some backup planes, so I use the B7A2 is probably my favorite plane in between battleship death to go and see if I can torpedo some battleship somewhere on the map. So that's my lineup, and now on to the data. So you can see from this spreadsheet, I did 10 battles, 3 losses, 7 wins. I started with 614,000 silver lines. I ended up with 766. Now that took just about 4 hours to play through that, and you can also see I recorded the number of battleships death that I had during those battles, and the backups that I used as well, because of course if you use a backup then you don't actually have to pay for the repair of the first one. Hint hint, it's a good job to use backups in those situations, especially with the more expensive battleships that cost more to repair. At the moment Hyuga is stunningly cheap compared to the other battleships at maximum 15,725 silver lines. You can see my earnings per battle along the side down there to the right. And all in all, after 4 hours, I earned 150,000 silver lines, which is not a loss of money at all. If anything, it's a bit embarrassing, but it's better than a kick in the ass, right? It gives a earning per hour of 37,000, or of course 38,000. And if I compare that to my US battleship, that's actually about 18,000 silver lines better off, so almost double. So that's the long and short of the Hyuga, but you're not scared by this. At least you earn some silver lines with it, and it's a fun ship to play. So if you haven't got it yet, go get it. Gunship over and out.